Her name is Padmini. Now, Padmini is a product enthusiast. Padmini believes that any skill is learnable, just like all our other speakers.
It's
She started
12:30.
her career in a small advertising agency earlier, and she wore many hats in her career. She's been a visual designer, she's been a UX designer, she's been a product manager. Now she's a successful entrepreneur with her own startup. So today, Padmini is going to talk about how to become an entrepreneur and every single role thought about people, what they need and what they want, and what's the best way to complain about something, which is by doing it in a better way. Padmini believes anyone can become anything, and that is all that matters, which is the mindset. So please welcome Padmini.
Cool. So I think I have the unenviable task of keeping people away from the new nap that we usually do on Sundays. Okay, let
Yes.
me try to share my screen. Hope I don't get the same glitches. All right. And I'm going to talk to you all about how to get into entrepreneurship in 6 simple steps. Before that, this is not about how to get into entrepreneurship and then be a millionaire in a year or multi-billionaire in 2 years, or how to raise so much fund. This talk is not about that because of the reason that I haven't done that yet. So, but something that I have done in the past 1 year is moving from my corporate job to entrepreneurship, and the steps and the methods and sort of exploration that I have done. That's something that I can share purely which worked for me, and I'm very sure which can work for you as well. And yes, a little bit about me. I've done my visual communication from Ethraj, and then I started my career as a designer. Those days called as visual designers, then UI, UX, moved to PayPal, and over there I've spent around 7 to 8 years, and then moved into product management and into healthcare product management. And now I have my own startup called Mind and Mom, which predominantly works at prediction of birth anomaly for pregnant women and overall as women wellness app. And now I will be talking about 6 different steps, which doesn't go in any order or so, which might be in a template for some and might not be for some, but happy to answer the questions for which you might need some more context and leave some more space for question and answer session. So for a lot of people, you ask anybody who wants to start up or get into entrepreneurship, become a businessman or women, I think most of them, they say, I have a bad boss or a stupid boss. I think the reason for you to become an entrepreneur should never be because you hate your job or your boss, because most of the people, they hate their boss, they hate their stupid boss and become one. So I think you should find your passion and find something that you really can be excited and on an everyday basis. Because for somebody happy about their entrepreneurship journey or their startup on everyday basis is quite not possible. Like you can't be rejoicing about that every day, because like many say marriages are done in heaven and startups are made in hell. Like sometimes it's stretchy, sometimes it's exhausting, sometimes people leave, sometimes there are bad Glassdoor reviews. The things are going to be so different on every single day, but still, if you can go to sleep feeling so fulfilled about the problem that you're solving, I think that is where your passion is, and that is where the solution that would fit. Because there are quite a lot of problems outside. There are quite a lot of things that we can fix outside. I might be super interested in interior decoration, but I think if I start a startup with that and come up with an idea, maybe in a month or two, I might find it boring, or in a year or two, I might find it boring. We all have something that we are really passionate about and, dying to solve that as a problem. Now, it's a task of finding that one particular problem and then pursuing over there and then building skills over there and meeting right people over there. So that is where you should find your right problem or the right solution to start off with. And then finding your unfair advantage. we always look at some people and then, think, oh, look at him or look at her, has such a rich parents or right skills from IIT or from the best colleges or universities, have the best network. The fact inside unfair advantage is that we all have unfair advantages. We all have. Nobody can say, no, I don't have any. Like, you can be in a city, you can have the best network on LinkedIn, or you could be very good in writing, you could be very good in having a video content, creating content. It could be anything. All that you have to do is figure that out. But figuring that out will not happen when you're like inside the house thinking about what is very good for me, what is my unfair advantage. It doesn't happen that way. For that, you have to pour yourself out. Go out, find people, meet new people, attend events, attend webinars, and of course, taking some random, like even if you're not so much into that topic, still go meet new people, and that brings in a lot of perspectives, and that brings in a lot of unfair advantage of meeting the right people at the right time. And all that you have to do is go pour yourself out, and that will give you, open the door for access into funds, maybe access into better PR, better people, better resources. You never know, you don't know, and then go out and explore. But the more you explore, you don't know where you might be landing in.
Padmini, we are getting some comments from our participants, like, is it possible to go for a full screen mode or something? They couldn't able to.
Okay. It shows it's full screen for me.
Okay.
It's very
okay.
small for you.
It's okay. It's fine.
Are you able to see the screens? Like able to read what is there and stuff?
Yes, of course.
You are able to, right?
The previous screens, it was some small fonts, right? Maybe they might have some trouble with that.
All right. Small fonts was more for me as a pointer. You just have to read the bigger one. I'm anyway explaining what am I seeing, all right? So being your own cheerleader, I think this is my favorite part when you want to become an entrepreneur. Like, you can be a designer today, you might be doing UX today, or you might be even doing product management today, where you are an expert in something, or at least you think you are an expert in something. And you are like able to fight or argue about some topic and always win the conversation. It might be all possible. But when you are out and when you are actually talking about your idea to people, there might be a lot of people laughing at your idea, or saying it's not really a good one, or might tell you the stories of, I know somebody who started and then they went bankrupted, couldn't pay their EMI. It could be any sorts of story. So I'm going to give you a small story of an entrepreneur, and from 1995. Let's see if you're able to find who is that. So in 1995, there was a company called Zip2, and this particular entrepreneur, along with his brother, went and approached Yellow Pages to move the whole Yellow Pages into internet. Obviously, as you know, those days we used to have that huge yellow book along with the landline phone, just like kept beneath the landline phones. And, we used to just take random numbers and stuff. Hope most of you remember. If not, I think the only place where we can see is the Friends series now. And this particular entrepreneur wanted to make all these numbers, all these data into the internet, because he himself believed that the future is internet. And then he met the owner, or the head of Yellow Pages. And you know what that owner did? He just threw the Yellow Pages on this entrepreneur's face and said, do you think this multi-billion-dollar company is going to be moved into internet? And are you going to kind of kill the whole paper and then book industry with Yellow Pages? Can any of you guess who is this entrepreneur from 1995? I think some of them responded already. I think, yes, it is right. It is Elon Musk. And So that's what happened, because not everybody is very entrepreneurial. Some are businessmen, some know to make money, but they don't know what is entrepreneurship, because being a businessman is so different from being an entrepreneur. Being a businessman is like, running a business with OD, running a business on, how can I make revenue in the next month? How can I take profit? How can I take the profit and then pay as a salary and then, make more and more money about it? But being an entrepreneur is being more visionary and thinking about bigger ideas and better ideas. So not many will understand whatever you guys might say. Some might be very, very loving and close people of you, saying, I think you have to be safer. But some might be jealous, or some might, don't know where this is going to take you. So always be your own cheerleader. I'm not asking you to be overconfident, but always you cheer up, and then you think this will work. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't cheer up yourself, or if you don't invest the time and money on yourself, nobody else is going to. So always an important tip is to be your own cheerleader. Find your right people. I think this goes two ways. One is the circle of friends that you talk and move with, and then the potential customers where you go talk about this idea. I'm not even talking about, you build the product and then talk to customers. When you have the idea, you can always build a web page about this idea, have a newsletter sign up, and then promote that idea. Pay some $10, $20, put it on Google ads, Facebook ads. See how many people even show some interest. It could be a cycle hiring company, a water bottle business, or a digital healthcare company. It could be anything, but see how many people are showing some genuine interest, because the people around you might not be the potential customers, and they might not understand if they want the product, if that is a desire or a need or a want. So if for you to find the right potential customers, you might have to invest some money and time. Don't shy away from that, and put it out there to the right people, and then figure out, and then take the analytics. You don't have to do a complete market research to see if this idea would work or not, but at least a high level of having it to the first 300 people and getting the feedback about it. It doesn't have to be a completed app or completed platform or a product. It can be just a web page with all the details that you're thinking about, or high level details of what you're thinking about. And then asking people what they think about it, or will they be interested in paying for such a product if that's going to come to the market. That way, asking the right people can always land you in the right decision. It could be either yes, or it could be either no. So you can just chuck this idea and then move out with the next idea, move out to the better idea, and then try the iteration again and again. I think this way you save a lot of time, you save a lot of money, and most importantly, you're not probably burning out, or wasting your energy on something that might not work out in the future. Again, on finding the right people on a different level is finding the right set of people around you, like people who are much more talking about ideas, not about people, and having a constructive conversation, not just a vague, fun conversation. Having fun and having a good evening call conversation is always good, but that person shouldn't be always talking about the series and always talking about the match and always talking about something small when your ideas are so big. So having the right people around you really matters if you are deciding to be an entrepreneur. And the fifth step is find your 360-degree manifesto. So whenever, most of us like to be an entrepreneur, and whenever we decide to become one, there are quite a lot of self-doubts we get in. Like, how will I pay EMI? I'm not talking about someone who has a lot of money or probably having a good backup, but I'm talking about someone like me who has an EMI, still want to move into entrepreneurship. So how will I pay my entrepreneur? How will I pay my EMI, rent, or who's going to get who's going to give me the fund, or who's going to join me and build this idea along with me? What about my work-life balance? And there are quite a lot of questions that might raise the moment you want to be into the startup or entrepreneurship. I'll give you a small, personal anecdote of what happened to me like 5 years back when I was much younger and much stupider. My husband wanted to join a startup, and I was like, those days startup was not considered too fancy for someone in a middle class, and we thought, how about what if they just close in a month or two? What is their investment? And so many questions comes in, and my husband was already working in a very good company, and why do we do this? But he was very, very adamant. He told me this is going to be a food delivery company, and he would like to join the startup. I was like, not very sure, because every hotel that you see, every restaurant you see, they have their own delivery partners. They have people hired just to delivery. They have their bike, they have their boxes with their own branding and stuff. And the company that he was talking about is going to basically aggregate all these restaurants and going to deliver the food. Like, when the top-notch restaurants already have this chain, why are they going to move to your platform, giving you 8% commission, and then sell something? Was a complete nightmare to me. And then I told him, I think it's a bad idea for you to move from Coca-Cola to this company. And I think after 5-6 years, the company is Swiggy, and I'm so glad he did not listen to me and still went with his own gut feeling of Swiggy. So sometimes people might not get the support from their own family itself, but then if you have a gut feeling and if you are prepared for your next 1 year, let's say you're not going to make money for the next 1 year, which means that you have to prepare before that itself, and believe in that gut feeling and then go with it. Of course, it should be a very calculated risk. It should be something that is backing up, and then you always have a plan B. But always get what is the saying inside you, and then go with that. 99% it works, and you'll be successful. Even in that few percentage where you're not successful, you will have a lot of learning out of it, on which you can use in the talks that you give in the future, or the learning that will help you and build something much better and bigger in the future. So there is actually no failure if you are getting into the entrepreneurship practically. And then the prep 365 days in your style is where you will have the financials taken care, because this is super important. Even if you do not have too much commitments, it's very awkward or very weird if you don't have that money to run your life. Each one of us have very different lifestyles, and if that is not taken care in the right way by yourself, it's not like depending too much on others, you might not feel really good about it, and that energy will be seen on the startup or a service that you're building. So you have to prep yourself, and then probably have some FDs which can get matured every single month. Have money planned for the next 1 year. Consider you're not going to make any money for next 1 year, and then pitch into it and plan your financials, done at least the basics. And then most important is the skills. Like I said, you might be a very good designer already. You might be a very good product manager already, or a HR professional already. That is just one part of it. But becoming an entrepreneur is a whole sum of a thing, where you might have to know so many things, and you have to believe and you have to know by yourself that you are one of the best to start something like this. If not, you can always do some passion projects in that 1 year of preparation. Do something at Upwork, do something for free for friends. And even if you're not able to launch a startup in 1 year, where you couldn't really do it, work for one, get that idea, and that can bring you to the right people at the right time. And that 365 days is going to be an investment of time, money, and energy on yourself for the next 365 days, which is going to be super helpful for you to build something. And even if that goes wrong, like I said, nothing bad about it. You learn something and then come out of it and think what it is. So these are my 6 simple tips quickly for the small time that I have. And if you have more doubts on how I raised fund, or how I hired people, or how I quit and then prepared in that 1 year, happy to answer. If time doesn't permit, feel free to mail me on this email ID.